Good Monday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top news stories, let's take a quick look outside our weather window. And after a very volatile weekend as far as heavy downpours of rain, thunderstorms, and all of that we'll get to in a second, today a pretty nice summer day all across north central Washington. Even though we were cooler than we should be for this time of year, I don't think a lot of complaints after those 100-degree temperatures last week. This is a great view looking down at the Wenatchee Valley from our Wenatchee Heights cross camera, our Sky-Fi Tower camera up that way. And as you can see, a lot of blue sky out there, just a few clouds today with temperatures, as I mentioned, below normal. And this weather, hope you enjoy it because it's going to stick around through most of our week this week. We will see slightly below normal temperatures, which means about 85 to about 88 degrees here in the Wenatchee area. But overnight lows will be a little bit cool in the upper 50s for us, but upper 40s in the northern valleys. And then by the time we get into Saturday, the Weather Service isn't talking about it a whole lot yet, but we could see a chance for more showers and thunderstorms and more clouds for sure as we move through the week. And we'll talk much more weather coming up a little bit later on. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. We have the story of a Waterville family who lost almost everything in Saturday's thunderstorm. The weekend thunderstorms also sparked over a dozen new wildfires in central Washington. A preliminary investigation suspects a possible arson as the cause of that fire that destroyed a South Wenatchee home last week. And a 52-year-old Spokane woman spent 3 hours Sunday night in the waters of O'Sullivan Reservoir near Moses Lake. But first, we begin tonight. A wild thunderstorm that rolled through the Wenatchee Valley Saturday afternoon dumped heavy rain that led to mudslides and some evacuations in South Wenatchee. The flash flooding and mudslides did severe damage to at least 3 homes on Boudry Street in Wenatchee. Chelan County Emergency Management Director Kent Sisson says the extremely heavy rain caused mud and debris flows in the Squilchuck Canyon, Pitcher Canyon, and Halverson Canyon areas. A culvert which diverts water under the lower Squilchuck Road began eroding the downslope hillside located above Boudry Street. That's just off the city limits. The force of that water began creating a deep channel, forcing a massive amount of rock and mud down the hillside and into a development of single-wide mobile homes. Deputies and Wenatchee police officers responded and began evacuating that development. A river of mud, rock, and other debris impacted the north side of 3 mobile homes nearly to the roof lines. Children were carried out of one of those homes by deputies and Wenatchee police officers. 3 of the mobile homes are now deemed uninhabitable. The damage on Boudry Street is not far from where a late June rainstorm created a sinkhole that has yet to be repaired on South Wenatchee Avenue. Highway 2 east of Waterville was also shut down for about a half hour after being completely blocked by mud and debris. The thunderstorm also delayed the start of the Abbott Brothers concert Saturday at the Gorge Amphitheater for about an hour. Well, sadly, a family farm in Waterville was destroyed this past Saturday as a result of a mud flow that caused massive flooding on the property. Here with more details from that farm is NCWLIFE's Kyle Montgomery.
The thunderstorms that hit the Wenatchee Valley this past Saturday had more of an effect on some than others, especially the Ludman family farm located off Highway 2 in Waterville. The family farm was decimated by a massive mud flow on the Waterville Plateau this past weekend, leaving an estimated $300,000 in damage. The Ludmans were at the racetrack the night of the storm and were unaware of the flood in the area until 3 hours after it occurred and came home to find the entire property covered in water. Antique homes, shops, collectible cars, boats, pickups, an RV, and the family's physical house were all destroyed in the disaster Saturday evening, and the Ludmans unfortunately do not have flood insurance, leaving them without coverage for most of the items destroyed. Farm owner Joe Ludman spoke with NCWLIFE on how the flood and not being insured has affected him, his farm, and his family.
But about a mile swath going north and south for 15 miles or so, you have what we have right here. Lots of damage to the fields and the roads, but this is where it all collected and pooled together and took out everything. And then I was informed we don't have flood insurance, so we're in the midst of negotiating through that. So to really don't know where we stand, don't know if we're going to get any insurance. Do appreciate the people of Waterville and friends from out of town and people I've never even heard of donating already to GoFundMe pages.
Ludeman continued by saying that although nothing is official yet, he believes everything on the farm was destroyed and it is the worst case scenario possible.
I would say it's worst case scenario. We haven't had professionals determine that yet, but to me it looks like everything is a total loss. Going forward, I have no idea. I don't know what I'm going to do.
A GoFundMe has been set up and shared on Facebook by Waterville resident Jeremy Anders, where people can donate to the Ludeman family in their time of need. With NCWLIFE, I'm Kyle Montgomery.
The weekend thunderstorms also sparked over a dozen new wildfires in central Washington. That according to reports from the Central Washington Interagency Communications Center, or SWIC, located at Pangbourne Airport. Assistant Manager Jonathan Nash says crews were kept busy on several fronts.
Across the area, we had roughly 13 starts from our coverage area east of the Cascades. All of them really small in size, nothing more than an acre. And yeah, we have resources out on nearly all of them, except for a couple in the wilderness down in the Natchez area, up in the Goat Rocks wilderness, which they'll be in monitor status, and then probably doing some recon on them later this week.
Meanwhile, Debbie Kelly with the U.S. Forest Service says cooler and wetter weather helped crews working the Devore Creek fire. That's in the Glacier Peak Wilderness. It remains at about 450 acres. Also, heavy rain served to dampen down the Williams Flats fire. This is video from that location, unbelievable, which is now 45% contained with over 44,000 acres burned. Pretty dramatic video there. A preliminary investigation suspects a possible arson as the cause of the fire that destroyed a South Wenatchee home last week. Chelan County Fire District 1 Chief Brian Brett says the exact cause of the August 5th fire is yet to be determined, but he says evidence suggests it was intentionally set.
Now, we have a good area of origin on the fire. However, the actual cause is undetermined. Looks like it's most probable a human cause. We have posted the property with the Arson Alarm Foundation signs, and the Arson Alarm Foundation is a program that has an annual pot of $10,000 worth of money. And based on the number of nominations and the quality of information we get from people on investigations determines the award amount.
The older two-story wood frame home is located behind Gray's Electric, who owns the property. The structure was totally gutted. A neighboring garage also sustained some exterior damage from the heat. The public is asked to call the fire department with any information that could help the ongoing investigation. A 52-year-old Spokane woman spent 3 hours Sunday night in the waters of O'Sullivan Reservoir wearing a life jacket and clinging to a gas can before being rescued. The Grant County Sheriff's Office used a drone with an infrared camera to locate the woman about 10:45 p.m. She'd been aboard a 16-foot vessel that sank about 8 p.m. on the reservoir. It was about 15 miles south of Moses Lake. Her 40-year-old companion, wearing a life jacket, was able to swim to shore along Highway 262 and summon help. Numerous agencies and private citizens searched for the woman in the dark before she was spotted on that drone camera. She was taken to Harborview Medical Center in Seattle, where she was treated for hypothermia and for inhaling gas fumes. Well, coming up next here on the NCWLIFE Evening News, a Wenatchee attorney who crashed his car into a condominium complex in April reached a plea deal that resulted in reduced charges. A new roundabout is slated to be built in East Wenatchee next year to reduce congestion near Costco. And travelers who regularly use US 97A can help choose the best times for road closures during construction work planned next year. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
At some point, we realized that value and practicality go hand in hand. A time when an unnoticed accumulation of items has become burdensome. These possessions still have value, but now lack usefulness. Donate your unwanted items to Goodwill and become a job creator. Your donations allow Goodwill to provide much-needed training to job seekers in our community, and that's pretty useful for everyone.
Make plans to attend the August 30th grand opening of the all-new Goodwill on Columbia Center Boulevard in Kennewick.
I'm Tom from Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. At Alpine Air, we think of ourselves as customer service-oriented retailers. When you make an appointment, please visit our store, meet our people, see our shop. we are serious about heating and air conditioning. Carrier and Alpine Air are offering huge factory rebates and financing options for all your needs. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air. Call for your free replacement estimate. Heat and air, call Alpine Air, 662-6846.
Dear Mary Maids, please clean the kitchen, and the cabinets, and floors, and the chairs. And I wish you could clean the dog. Colin is now feeding himself. Thanks, Megan.
Hi, Megan. No worries. We got it all cleaned up. Let's hope Colin gets past the spaghetti flinging stage soon. Till then, we've got you covered. See you next time, Mary Maids.
Welcome back. In another news, a Wenatchee attorney who crashed his car into a condominium complex in April reached a plea deal that resulted in reduced charges and $800 in fines and court fees. 55-year-old Peter Fraley was fined for second-degree negligent driving after initially being charged with reckless driving and hit and run. Late night, April 26th, Fraley apparently missed a turn on McKittrick Street and Stella Avenue in Wenatchee and swerved onto a lawn, hitting a tree before crashing into the condo unit. Witnesses reported that he drove away at a high speed. He contacted Wenatchee police the next day. John Brangwin, Fraley's attorney, said they worked with both the building owner and the tenant.
Originally, Mr. Fraley was charged by a citation issued by the Wenatchee Police Department with hit and run. I had told the officer when he issued the citation that I believed that no criminal activity had taken place by Mr. Fraley, and in the end, that's exactly how the case resolved. The way we resolved the case is we reached out to both the tenant and the landlord of the building that Mr. Fraley struck, and we were able to make sure that all of the damages caused by Mr. Fraley were paid for. Mr. Fraley's insurance paid for most of the damage, if not all the damage, and then Mr. Fraley also paid both the landlord and the tenant some additional funds for things that weren't covered by his insurance company, so some additional compensation. And in exchange, both the landlord and the tenant agreed that the criminal charge of hit and run could be dismissed. And so the court, having the declaration of both the landlord and the tenant saying they agreed with the dismissal, the court dismissed the hit and run charge. There is a $250 court cost that came along with that. The prosecutor, while we were litigating the case, also added a charge of reckless driving. That is a criminal offense. However, we resolved that case where the special prosecutor reduced that charge from a criminal charge to a traffic infraction. That traffic infraction is negligent driving in the second degree. Mr. Fraley admitted that he did commit that traffic infraction and paid a $550 fine for that traffic ticket. That was the maximum fine that's allowed for that ticket. And so the total costs he paid were $800. He was not convicted of any crimes, which again is what I predicted would happen from the very beginning.
A new roundabout is slated to be built in East Wenatchee next year to reduce congestion at the intersection of 3rd Street Southeast and Highline Drive. That part of town has seen a marked increase in traffic due to new residential and commercial development, including Costco and several new car dealerships. The city and RH2 Engineering will host an August 28th open house to provide more information. The project will include new sidewalk and pedestrian crossing upgrades, with construction expected to start next spring. Well, travelers who regularly use US 97A can help choose the best times for road closures on construction work planned next year. The Washington State Department of Transportation is holding open houses this week to seek in public comment regarding the best time for those road closures. Specialized contractors will remove loose rock and debris from the slopes adjacent to US 97A to reduce the risk of it falling onto the highway. At the upcoming in-person and the online open houses, the public can comment on whether all-day or short half-hour closures will make more sense for that area. Longer closures can mean more work can be accomplished, but with more effect to travel times, and vice versa for shorter duration choices. The open houses will be held Tuesday at Chelan City Hall and Wednesday in Eniat at the Grange Hall. Both events are from 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock p.m. You're watching the NCW Life Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's features story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCW Life Evening News. Stay with us.
It's estimated that 1/3 of Americans do not have a financial plan. At D.A. Davidson, their advisors are working to change that because they understand the importance of planning for the future. At D.A. Davidson, they believe in partnering together to build a strategy tailored to your needs. They spend the time and have the knowledge to help keep your financial future on track. Let D.A. Davidson Financial Advisors of Wenatchee put the strength of advice to work for you.
Arctic Refrigeration and Heating has been serving North Central Washington for 34 years. Arctic provides the finest heating and cooling air quality products for residential and commercial customers, along with prompt and professional customer service. Arctic also offers specialty services like custom sheet metal fabrication of ductwork, coil cleaning, as well as planned fall and spring maintenance for the overall well-being of your system. Arctic is available for emergency calls 24/7. Call Arctic Refrigeration and Heating for your heating and cooling needs.
Welcome back to the NCW Life Evening News. Time now for a check of your North Central Washington weather forecast. Before we get to those details, let's take a look outside our weather window in a beautiful mid-August afternoon around the Wenatchee Valley today as we look down from the Wenatchee Heights area. That's, of course, where our cross camera is. Thank you to Sky-Fi and Local-Tel for providing this beautiful view. Just a few low-level clouds today. Lots of blue sky out there and temperatures below normal. All of us around North Central Washington did see those below normal temperatures, but boy, I don't think a lot of us complaining too much after a couple of 100-degree days last week. Temperatures today, as I mentioned, below normal. 82, our unofficial high in the Wenatchee area today. 87 is now our normal high. 62 is our normal low, and we started off below that this morning as well. You probably felt that cooler temperature at 58 degrees to kick off our Monday. Record high just a few years ago, 103 degrees. That was set back in 2015. Record low, 53 degrees, set in 1991. We did pick up, this is the storm total from Friday and from Saturday, believe it or not. Boy, it seemed like a lot more rain than that on Saturday, didn't it? We picked up 22/100ths of an inch Friday, 28/100ths of an inch on Saturday, and that as the storm total of half an inch, as I mentioned. We're now at 4.73 inches for the year, and that is actually above where we should be of about 14/100ths of an inch. Sunrise this morning, 5:53. Sunset tonight will be at 8:18. Now let's take a look at what we can expect as far as the next 7 days on our surface loop. Tonight, mostly clear skies. It will be a little bit chilly once again. I guess if you call 60 degrees on the chilly side. Light winds tonight, but you can see clear skies all over the western United States. Most of the cloud cover off the coast and to our north up in British Columbia. Tuesday, even more clear skies around Washington and the western U.S. Sunny, calm. We will see warmer temperatures tomorrow, getting back closer to where we should be for this time of year, but still only in the mid-80s for your Tuesday. Wednesday, sunny, a little bit breezy at times in the afternoon out of the west, 5 to 10 miles an hour, but it will be a mild one for Wednesday. Same goes to Thursday. Remember, these orange temperatures indicate about 80 to 85 degrees, and that's where we should be most of the week this week. Temperatures may be a little bit higher than that at times. Friday, mostly sunny, just slightly cooler. You can see this big northwest flow coming into Washington State. That will usher in just a little bit cooler air, which will bring our temperatures down slightly for Friday. Things rebound for Saturday. We will see a few more clouds. This could be changed as we make our way through the week. It looks like to me we will see some shower activity on Saturday. Not seeing that so much yet, but we'll wait till we make our way through the week. And then by the time we get to Sunday, sunny skies with temperatures near normal. Let's take a look now at your quick lube and tune 7-day forecast. Tonight will drop down, as I mentioned, to around 60, 61 degrees. 85 your high temperature for Tuesday, 87 on Wednesday.
Wednesday. A nice one for Thursday, too, with mostly sunny skies at 86. A little cooler on Friday at 83, and then back into the mid and upper 80s Saturday and Sunday with low temperatures in the mid-60s. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
If you want to work in healthcare, choose the program that teaches the skills employers want. The Charter College Medical Assistant Program combines hands-on learning in the lab with convenient online learning, plus real-life experience with an externship. Classes start every 5 weeks, so you don't have to wait to launch your new career. Enroll with confidence, knowing Charter is institutionally accredited by the Accrediting Bureau of Health Education Schools, and be ready to work in less than a year. Charter College. We work to get you to work.
AC Checker has new owners who put customer service first. When you have to get there on time, call fast, friendly, reliable AC Checker, 663-TAXI. AC Checker has the industry's only on-time or it's free guarantee. Conditions apply. Call AC Checker, 663-TAXI to schedule your cab or schedule online at acchecker.com. Call American Classic Taxi, 663-TAXI. That's 663-8294.
And now it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy Monday to you. Cole Wilkinson and 2 relievers combined on a 4-hit shutout of the Apple Sox Sunday in Corvallis as the Knights came out on top 3-0 in the regular season finale for both teams. Voice of the Apple Sox, Joel Norman, has more.
For the second time in 3 days, the Wenatchee Apple Sox were shut out, and as a result are swept by the Corvallis Knights with a 3-0 loss at Goss Stadium on Sunday afternoon. Now the Apple Sox turn their focus ahead to the postseason as they will host the Victoria Harbor Cats at 6:35 on Tuesday night at Paul Thomas Senior Stadium. With your Apple Sox update, I'm Joel Norman.
Thank you much, Joel. Wenatchee heads into the postseason on a 4-game losing streak after being swept by the Knights in the weekend series and losing the finale at home last Thursday to Ridgefield, although Coach Kyle Crustangel was trying to get enough players with enough innings to be eligible for the postseason roster. Victoria won the first and second half North Division and finished the season 39-15. Wenatchee placed third in the first half, second in the second half, and were 29-25 during the regular season. Harbor Cats won 5 of the 6 meetings between the two teams by an average score of 10-6. Now, the last time Wenatchee was in the playoffs back in 2013, Apple Sox swept Walla Walla in 2 games, but then were swept in the championship series by Corvallis. 2012, the last time the Sox won the title, needing 3 games to beat Bellingham in the divisional round and 3 games to top Corvallis in the finals. The division playoffs begin tomorrow night with the Apple Sox hosting the Victoria Harbor Cats, 6:35, Paul Thomas Senior Stadium. We'll hear more from the Sox and from Kyle Crustangel coming up tomorrow morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Taking a look at the Les Schwab scoreboard for the rest of the West Coast League on the final day on Sunday. Zach Swanson and 3 relievers combined on a 4-hit shutout of Port Angeles as Victoria won 6-0. Harrison Spahn hit a 2-run home run for the Harbor Cats. Eddie Pelk's 3-run home run gave Yakima Valley a walk-off in a 15-inning marathon with Walla Walla Sunday 6-3 the final. 12 pitchers combined to strike out 28 batters and walk 20 in a game that ended just before midnight at Yakima County Stadium. Ridgefield built a 4-run lead early behind home runs from Dusty Garcia and Grayson Sterling and hung on to beat Ben 4-3. Thomas Rudinsky was 2 for 4 with a home run to lead Portland past Cowlett 6-1. Gabe Scoro also drove in 3 runs for the Pickles. Bellingham and Kelowna were rained out at Elk Stadium. So the final standings of the second half of the North Division look like this. Victoria won it 21-6. Wenatchee second, 4 games back at 17-10. Port Angeles was third, and so on. Overall, the Harbor Cats had the second best overall record in the West Coast League this summer at 39-15. Wenatchee had the third best record to place second in the North standings at 29-25. Bellingham third. Port Angeles was fourth. Corvallis won the first and second half of the South Division, finishing 21-6 in the latter half. Portland finished second and Ridgefield third. Now, due to Walla Walla's overall record being second best in the South, the Sweets get into the playoffs with their 30-23 record in its inaugural season. Ridgefield finished third at 27-27. By the way, Corvallis' 42-12 record, the best ever in the 10-year history of the West Coast League. Turning to the majors, Eric Sogard's solo home run in the 5th inning was enough for Tampa Bay Sunday as they swept the Mariners with a 1-0 win. Ryan Yarbrough was brilliant on the mound, going 8 innings, 8 2/3 in fact, allowing no runs, just 3 hits, and 8 strikeouts. Wade LeBlanc took the loss for Seattle, going 6 innings, allowing 1 run on 5 hits and 3 strikeouts. M's have a travel day today before beginning a series tomorrow in Detroit at 4:10. Yusei Kikuchi facing Matthew Boyd. Also taking a look at the Les Schwab American League West scoreboard on Sunday. Rio Ruiz's 2-run home run gave Baltimore a walk-off 8-7 win over Houston Sunday. The Orioles gave up 3 runs to the Astros in the top of the 9th. That set the comeback. Anthony Bemboom's RBI single in the top of the 10th gave the Angels a 5-4 win at Boston. Chris Bassett and 3 relievers combined on a 5-hit shutout for Oakland as the A's got a 2-0 win in Chicago against the White Sox. Matt Olson provided the offense in that one with a 2-run home run. Mike Minor went 8 innings of 4-hit ball to shutout ball, that is, to help Texas blank Milwaukee 1-0. Racing at Wenatchee Valley Super Oval rained out Saturday. They're gearing up for another race this Saturday with Bump to Pass Roadrunners, WMRA Midgets, and Bump to Pass Boat Destruction. That's going to be fun to watch. Seahawks resumed training camp over the weekend after its 22-14 win over Denver in its first preseason game. Coach Pete Carroll says they have a lot of things to clean up before they travel to Minnesota this weekend.
Yeah, we had a bunch of penalties. Yeah, that stood out, and I thought they were legit. We had sloppy hands and grabbing too much, and special teams. And we were terrific at penalties, and a few penalties in special teams last year, and we just started off terribly there. So that was one thing. The other thing, the most positive thing was just the general effort. The effort was really, really good. We really ran hard and fast in the way that we want to see a team play, and particularly setting the first impression in motion. I thought they did that, and like we said, running and hitting was what really was at hand, and we did that. So a lot of stuff to clean up, and a lot of guys played, and a lot of guys get good play time, quality play time, where it wasn't just getting in there for a couple series, where they're out there and you could really get a feel for guys, which is important.
As you see there, Seattle had over 130 yards in penalties. Carroll also said the injury to George Fant on his ankle, pretty significant, going to take a while to heal up. Backup quarterback Geno Smith also had a procedure to remove a cyst in his knee, but was back out on the practice field yesterday. Seahawks' next preseason game is Sunday at Minnesota, a game that will be nationally televised on Fox at 5 o'clock. That's Sports Summer. Granstrom. Grant, back to you.
Thank you, Eric. And finally tonight, firefighters in Chelan paid tribute to former longtime fire commissioner John Gordon on Saturday. Gordon, a lifelong Chelan resident, died July 25th at age 68 with memorial services held Saturday. He owned and operated John Gordon Welding and Repair since 1980. In addition, he was a volunteer firefighter and member of the Police Reserves. Also, a memorial service was held last week for longtime Chelan County Fire Commissioner Mike Compton, who died unexpectedly from a sudden illness. Compton was also a lifelong farmer and rancher. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and for other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. Also, keep it right here on the NCW Life channel tomorrow morning for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley with host Dan Kuntz. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.
NCW Life channel is your home for local news, local weather, and events including live local high school sports. Watch inspiring local shows featuring local people. Don't miss Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Let's Learn, Guada TV, Street Talk and Other Stuff, the 12th District, Life with Lisa, and the Arbiter of Stoke. NCW Life channel is your local TV station.
Hey there, Wenatchee. I'm Sean Lee, and I'm inviting you to check out the NCW Movie Guide to keep up on what movies are playing in our town.
Hi, I'm Erin McCardle with Lakeshline Winterfest, and you're watching the NCW Life channel.